Everyone, welcome to another episode of Beauty Debate. That was loud. Today I want to talk about my dream and my ideal world regarding our relationship with our looks and beauty. So in an ideal world, we would all be feeling our most beautiful selves. If you ask me what I would do to achieve that, it would be to tell women that other women are not their competition. And the reason why I say that is not because we are all day competing with other women in order to be the most beautiful and we are shallow like that or anything. That doesn't mean that you're shallow. But the reason why I say that is because the reason why you know ugliness, and the reason why you can't even feel ugly is because you think you know beauty exists in a certain shape or form. Therefore, you can feel ugly compared to it. How can you ever imagine ugliness without beauty? Or how can you imagine beauty without something that isn't beautiful? So obviously those constructs have been created for us and we basically live life by them, trying to understand what means that you're beautiful and what means that you're ugly, and you're seeing what characteristics you have and you're matching them up to see if you're ugly or beautiful. Have an inherent need to feel safe in this world, and you try to avoid uncertainties so that you can feel safe, so that your brain knows what to predict and it knows how to act. That's how a lot of anxiety comes up in us. So we feel anxious because we don't know the possible outcome of something, or we don't know how we will handle that possible outcome. So we have all of these, negative scenarios in our mind. We're basically trying to prepare ourselves for a negative possible scenario. And that makes us feel safer. So us feeling that pain of anxiety in that current moment feels more safe than, maybe it won't happen and maybe not even experiencing it. So a familiar, painful situation for us is better than an unfamiliar situation at all. That could turn out positive. So basically, when you try to understand those characteristics of beautiful and ugly, and you try to, spot them in yourself so you can put yourself in a category, and then you can look at how that category, survives in this world, and you can try to predict what your life is going to look like or what your experiences are going to be like. In terms of beauty, in terms of the way that beauty has been weaponized and the way that it has been pushed upon us, created this massive expectation for women, and that's the thing that makes us, try to define beauty and ugliness in a certain way. So when you find ugly characteristics in yourself, it creates an unsettling feeling for you. And I want to get into the reason why that happened. Both in historical and contemporary context, women have been more vulnerable. They've been the more vulnerable gender. And with a baby, they've been even more vulnerable. So a lot of choices that women make in terms of choosing a partner rely on, trust, commitment, and, feeling of comfort. So you want to feel like your partner is committed to you. You don't want to be, not protected. You don't want to feel like your kid is not protected. You basically want a male who you think is going to commit to you. Now, I have so much to say about this whole narrative and how it applies to our modern world, but it is not enough time for this video. I'm just going to talk hypothetically. I'm going to talk as if that's just the way it is, okay? So because you want to feel like that, you're looking at the world and you're seeing, okay, how can I make sure that when I'm with someone and when I have children, or even if you don't want children, you still do this because it's probably in your DNA. How can I make sure that I choose someone or I get someone that is going to do that to me? So we think we're choosing that. We think we're choosing for commitment. But in this world lately, instead of choosing right, we've basically been shaping ourselves so that we can be a certain way so that they won't leave us. There is this ongoing narrative that, men, because of their biology, have this need to multiply, and they have the instinct to, look at women and cheat or whatever it is. So we see that as a threat, obviously. And we think, I don't know if there's an underlying feeling that we think they have the right to do that. But again, I'm not going to get into that part. We think, okay, how can I protect myself for this possible outcome? Because I don't want it to happen to me. I don't want to be in danger like that. So we try to read their behavior and we think, okay, the metric for them must be beauty. So if I am beautiful enough, they won't do that to me. They won't leave me. And you're trying to basically strive for beauty in a certain way. And even if you're not striving for it, if you find beautiful people around you, you feel that as a threat in yourself because you don't think you're safe. You don't think you're safe because you don't think you have the qualities it takes to be safe in a relationship. And that is making you even more alert, right? So when you feel that way, you are trying to, whether you're acting on it or not, whether you're trying to, whether you're actually jealous and you actually, make it obvious, or whether you're working on yourself constantly so that you can be more beautiful, those things don't matter. What matters is that you think that beauty is a metric to feeling safe. I have so many ways to debunk this. One of them is that beauty isn't even the metric for that, but let's say it was. You think that, okay, if I'm beautiful enough, that person who is prone to cheating, who's prone to leaving me, who's prone to, lack of commitment, because those things are risks for me, you think that if you are beautiful enough, they're going to weigh the pros and cons and they're going to say, oh no, I'm not going to leave her because she has the beauty, right? So she's a lot more beautiful and there's no one around me that is more beautiful, so I'm not going to leave that person because she's amazing. That's the way you would behave. That's the way a woman would think, okay, I'm going to weigh the pros and cons and I'm going to decide whether to keep this thing or not. I don't think men weigh the pros and cons that accurately in that way. And I'm not to say what's more accurate or what's not. This is all, coming to the point of, women think differently, men think differently. We, I think, like to weigh the pros and cons of things because we feel unsafe all the time. So we try to make decisions that are better for long term because that's the way we've learned how to survive. So I'm not even trying to put men down for deciding in a different way. But I'm just trying to tell you that those things don't happen like that. Like the way that the reason why I don't want you to try and shape yourself a certain way to prevent someone else's actions is because you can never control their actions. Everything that someone else does is a reflection of them. You can't control what they're going to do to you and how they're going to behave towards you just by your actions. And that's another reason why I get very concerned when I see a lot of the content online directed at women, teaching us how to be, a black cat kind of energy, how to have dark feminine energy. And look, there is some things in there that are very valuable information and that's relevant, but I think the context is wrong. Why are we trying to observe the male species and looking at what they want and how they respect a woman and how they choose a woman and how they want to chase and they want a challenge and they want this and that, and changing ourselves so that they will choose us and so that they will commit to us? That's not even the solution. That's never going to be the full solution. You are just, again, living in this world thinking that you need to be a certain way to protect yourself from a possible outcome that might not even happen, or it might happen no matter what you do for it. So you're viewing this world as if that love, commitment are things that are only earned through aesthetic qualities. But that's not even accurate. Like, if it was accurate, I would probably be sitting here, discussing the ethics of that and disagreeing with it. But it's not even accurate for me to do that. That's not even what makes a person, feel committed towards you or act committed towards you. It's not a feeling, it's a continuous decision to be committed to someone. That's not what does that. You've seen beautiful women get cheated on. You've seen beautiful celebrities get cheated on. You've seen successful women get cheated on. You've seen every type of woman get cheated on. It's never a reflection on the woman. So when you look at the world through the glasses of beautiful and ugly, which is what you think makes a woman valuable in men's eyes, it's not even accurate representation of how relationships work. And I am not blaming you for this, and I am also not saying that you are definitely doing this because you care about the male gaze and you really care and you really want a partner and you're just so scared. You might not even want to be in a relationship. You might be attracted to women. You might be already in a secure relationship, but these constructs are in our minds and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, they might still be affecting the way that you behave. They might still be affecting the way that you dress, and they might be affecting the way, that you feel about yourself and how you show up in this world because of the way you've put yourself in a category. The way that people tell you how beautiful or how, ugly you are. And I know that if you have good people around you, they're always trying to validate you in that way. But it doesn't change how you feel inside. You've been fed this narrative for so long that it's so hard to just snap out of it. And I'm not saying that what you are feeling and when you're feeling ugly be tied to the fact that you are performing for the male gaze. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that it's very possible that the way that you show up in this world has a tie to how beautiful or ugly you think you are, because the world has probably trained you to think that that's the most important kind of category for you to fit into. It's the most important quality that you could have, and you want to strive for that because you want to lead a safe life, and you think it ties into that. Because I think no matter our, sexuality or the way, that we feel about people, or the way we see women or men, I think we are all affected by this daily because we all watch, social media, TV, we all buy products. We all buy perfumes, we all buy makeup. We see everything in the world and everything has this kind of code in it. So being aware of beauty and ugly as these topics that are made up and that have been fed to us and that we still try to play by the rules, I think it's good to realize that because we can see how much it's actually affecting us, and once we recognize that, we can try to look outside of it. When you have these topics, when you have these categories in your mind, at the forefront of your mind, and you're trying to fit into that, because again, it's such an inherent need to feel safe in this area. Being compared to your peers is really important for, people. The way you compare to people within your gender, that is really important for people. And, it just comes from our survival instinct, and it's a natural thing. And I don't want any of you to ever blame yourselves for that, because you're not the one who chose this. You've been inherited this kind of thinking pattern. And I want us to change this thinking pattern, because basically when you're trying to control your image in order to feel safe, in order to feel protected in a certain way, in order to be chosen, or in order to be appreciated for who you are, even though it's not really who you are, what you're doing is you're putting a lot of other things about yourself in the backseat. So let's say you're driving for a career, you're doing some hobbies, you're looking after your health, you're doing certain things, and you're living life and you're experiencing things and you're getting to know yourself one by one. You're getting all this kind of new information about yourself. And what's happening is, at the forefront, you're still trying to play by the rules. You're still trying to look beautiful a certain way. You are trying to look good enough if you're looking for a partner. You're trying to look good enough for your existing partner. You're trying to look good enough at work so you're taken seriously. You try to look good on social media because you don't want to feel left out, because everyone just looks very beautiful and very amazing on there. You're trying to look good a certain way. Like it's something that you're doing on the daily. And all of these other experiences that are helping you explore who you are and what your values are getting, they're staying in the back. And I know us women, we never give up and we take on a lot of responsibility. So you're still doing those things, and I'm sure you're slaying all of them. But let's say you find out something about yourself. Let's say you say, okay, this thing, A, is my value and I really care about this. And this is a core value for me now, and I'm going to live my life based on this. But you have this here, which is, based on external validation, thinking that you won't be safe unless you look a certain way, thinking that, love and commitment and everything is earned through aesthetic goals, like only seeing an objectified version of yourself and other women, thinking that it's a woman's responsibility to be committed to be something that is worth committed to. All of these values, all of these things that make you live life a very different way are clashing with the values that you discovered here. And which one wins? The one that is more familiar or the one that you just discovered? So it's so important to know how to break these down so that you can pick up new values and you can explore the world and actually change your life as you grow, instead of staying stuck where you are because you still have the same core beliefs. And I can't express how soul crushing these existing beliefs are. You basically see the world in a way that is so unsafe for you, that is based on betrayal, that is, and I'm not saying the world is perfect, and I'm not saying life is perfect, but if you see the world and if you see relationships in a way where, you need to earn respect, you need to earn commitment, you need to earn love, and you need to earn these things, and the world only looks at you from the outside, no one is ever going to be able to see inside, who you truly are. That's really, really sad. And that's just so heartbreaking. And being seen is one of the most painful things ever. Everyone wants to be seen. People want to be understood. They want to be seen for who they are. We don't even know who we are because we can't explore who we are because we are playing a narrative. We're a woman, and I'm a woman, and I need to look beautiful, and I need to be this way, and I need to be that way. Same for men as well. We're all playing a part, and it's stopping us from getting to know who we are. And the more we play like that, the more we block people who have the ability to see us for who we are, because we are not stepping into that zone. We're just staying here where we think we know the rules on, how to be safe, and we keep getting disappointed. So it's not going to change everything that I've spoken about. It's not going to change the way that you think instantly. It's not going to make you, stop caring about the way the world sees you. It's not going to make you get up and stop caring about your looks. And I'm not saying you should stop caring about your looks. As someone who is obsessed with fashion and its power, I wouldn't be sitting and telling you here that, you should completely give up on everything. But I am basically trying to tell you there is no tool in this world that can protect you from the uncertainties of life based on what image that you put out there, based on the way that people perceive you. Nothing can do that. Your image, your styling, your looks, your smile, everything has so much power, but nothing has enough power to control another person's actions. Nothing has enough power to stop uncertainties in the world, hurting you. Nothing can do that. And I don't want you to live life this way, thinking that you need to be beautiful enough to live a good life, or you're living a bad life because you're ugly, or because you're not good enough, you're not aesthetically pleasing enough, or you don't fit in to current beauty dynamics and beauty standards and conventional beauty that we seem to accept as a society right now. I don't want you to think that you deserve being mistreated, or you deserve not being respected by people, because you're basically blaming yourself for another person's inability to see something beautiful in you. And you're basically thinking it's normal. You're blaming yourself for another person's actions. You're blaming yourself for another person's inability to see the beauty within you, to get to know you, and to respect and commit to you. And that might seem more normal when you're playing that game, as I said, because you don't do that either. You can't see the beauty within people the way that you would like to see it. Maybe you can't see within someone because we're all so messed up and brainwashed, to see beauty only tied to aesthetic things, only tied to visual things, or even we can't even understand and appreciate the details within those visual things. We can't connect with them. We can't connect with people. So you living life this way is going to stop you from changing your current circumstances, because you think it's normal that you get treated like that. And you're also going to keep seeing people through that lens. You don't want to see people through the lens that is only on the surface. Life has so many layers, and I absolutely appreciate external beauty, but there is more. That's the first layer. That's literally the first layer of existence. Our eyes are so powerful, but they're also dangerous. I think my religious friends would understand what I'm talking about our eyes and nefs. We can't keep thinking that that's the most powerful thing that exists, and we can say that, oh no, that's not important, inner beauty is more important. But then if we act as if the outer beauty is still important, we're not living by those rules, and we're still gonna get the same outcome. I wish you guys the best always, and I want you all to feel so inherently valuable and important and unique and special. I promise you the best love and commitment you can receive is from yourself, and I hope we understand the true meaning of that the more we talk about these things. So I have so much more to talk about. I can't wait to share it with you guys, but thank you so much for listening, and please tell me what else you would want to speak about. Well, I really appreciate you guys, listening to me talk about this, and I can't wait to share more with you. Take care.